Hey y'all, Rob here with ATX Legal, and today I'm going to be answering the question, how long will my criminal case take? Unfortunately, the answer is it depends, because the time can vary widely based on the individual factors of your case. It's an unfortunate fact that the wheels of justice move incredibly slowly. If you've had a case, you've seen that firsthand. If you're about to experience that, things might take a lot longer than you expect that they should. And to make things worse, while that's happening, a pending case can have a serious effect on you. For some people, it doesn't matter that you haven't been convicted of anything. Simply having a pending case can have ramifications for your job or for other things going on in your life. And while it certainly happens that certain cases are able to be dismissed quickly within a few weeks or a month, those are definitely the exception, not the rule. So in general, misdemeanors are going to go more quickly than felonies, and then there are certain types of cases that tend to last longer. And here are some common factors that are going to delay the case, whether you're talking about a felony or a misdemeanor. First is if you're waiting on lab tests. Oftentimes we're talking about blood tests for alcohol level or drugs, but they can be other tests too for DNA or a wide variety of things, but sometimes those tests can take 6 months, a year, because you're waiting on the lab to test those and return the results back to the prosecutor. And so you're just at the mercy of these labs who often have a backlog of cases that they're testing for. Next, we could be waiting on input from witnesses, and oftentimes this is the complaining witness, which is just the name for the person who is alleging a crime took place. The prosecutor is often going to want to get in touch with the complaining witness, and sometimes that person can be mostly unavailable. Maybe they don't answer their phone, maybe they don't trust lawyers, maybe their phone has been turned off or they've moved, but the prosecutor is trying to reach them and can't do so. That's going to delay the case because the prosecutor is not going to want to move forward without that person's input. A third thing that's going to commonly delay cases are pretrial matters that have to be handled with hearings. So at that point, we need to subpoena witnesses, we need to get the judge, the prosecutor, you'll need to be present, I'll need to be present. Getting all those people together in a room can take some time for scheduling, and that's going to delay the case as well because these pretrial matters need to be settled before we can move forward with the case or move forward with negotiation. And that brings me to the negotiations themselves, because listen, you don't want to be taking that first offer. Usually 9 times out of 10, that first offer is not going to be the best one you receive. And this is just negotiation tactics 101. When you go to negotiate for a car, you're not going to be accepting that first offer, and you're not going to be doing it in your criminal case either if you want to get the best result for your case. But the flip side of that is that negotiations can take time. Oftentimes we're wanting to push that case to a trial docket before we even really get to the real negotiations. And in that case, cases can take up to a year for misdemeanors. Almost all felonies are going to be taking more than a year. Now, most of my clients do want the speediest outcome possible while getting the best outcome for their case. And I do have some ways to try and make that happen. And one of the best ways is to just give the prosecutor a clear idea of what we want. I'll talk to my client and decide, what are our goals for this case? Do we want to get pretrial diversion? Are we only going to settle for a dismissal? If the prosecutor reduces the case to a misdemeanor or something similar like that, are we going to accept that? And if we can give the prosecutor a clear idea of what we want, oftentimes we're going to get to that result more quickly. But the bottom line is misdemeanors are going to take 6 to 12 months, and there are exceptions both ways. Some will be resolved very quickly. Some could take 2 years. I've seen even beyond that for misdemeanors. Felonies typically take at least a year and can be much longer, but there are exceptions there on the downside, and I have gotten felonies dismissed rather quickly as well. So even though there are exceptions, generally misdemeanors are going to fall in that 6 to 12 month range, whereas felonies are going to be a year or more. And of course, none of this is legal advice for your specific case, because based on the details of your case, it can vary wildly one way or the other. So if you would like advice on your case, visit us at atx.legal.